Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're just gonna do a little talk and try to see what gauges y'all interest. So today we will be talking about the 2022 season and where and what we're going to be doing in the 2023 season. So 2022 was pretty crazy. We ended up with 13 events overall. Some of them were just teaching, some were half events, some were testing, but overall it was 13 different days of straight drifting. Preparation for the 2022 season was fairly simple this past year. It was really nut and bolt checks, oil changes, stuff like that. I did do some suspension upgrades as well as a new steering wheel from Grip Royal. Getting some good insight from Fortune Auto for the coilovers, as well as harnesses and toe straps from Bridgemoto. I got to give a big shout out to those guys. All three of them helped me, or four of them helped me pretty good every year. Grip Royal has such a great support system, as well as Fortune Auto and Bridgemoto. FDF has a wealth of knowledge helping me learn how to set up suspension a little bit better, as well as understanding what needs to be done on their kits. The first event of the year, which was kind of a ritual, was Stupacold. Grip Royal hosts Stupacold in Knoxville, which isn't happening at the moment, unfortunately, since Memphis International closed down. This year, Stupacold was exactly what its name was. It was cold as hell. The first day we got out was Friday. We went to the pre-meet, which started kind of getting out of hand. I had my truck and my trailer with the car on it. So when it started getting crazy and people started doing burnouts, we kind of jetted out of there before the cops came in. Second day was the first day of drifting. We got out there pretty early and it was raining. It was pretty chilly and it was a little miserable. We were all wet all day. I think I was wet all the way up to my knees by the end of the day. The track was a lot of fun though. It was super slippery on the back end, and I was able to start really getting into being used to the FDF angle kit, which felt great. And I got to do a lot of tandems with my friends Carrie and Phil, as well as some of the No Drift guys. So overall, that first day was really great. The second day we got there, it had snowed overnight. I think there was an inch or two of snow. Phil left his window down. It got all kinds of snow inside of the car. My car was covered in snow. The track was super icy and slick, which honestly made it a little bit more fun. I went off course a couple times, got stuck. Carrie ripped her rear bumper off. I ripped my rear valences off. It was just a absolute party. As the progression of the year went, I took 2 months off. I think it was end of February, we did a 24-hour kart race at NOLA, followed by SCUSA Nationals and then TSRS. So after that, we had the NOLA Speed Tour, which was an insane weekend. We had F4 cars, vintage cars, and all kinds of different stuff on the car track there. And then we had a whole bunch of backflow to karting. So it was just a wild weekend for everybody. After the speed tour, we decided to go to Atlanta, Georgia and check out Formula D, which ended up turning into a sort of track hopping. We ended up at 3 different racetracks that weekend. Our first racetrack we went to was Atlanta Motorsports Park, We went do some karting. I talked with some friends over there and ended up leaving with a job. Then we went to Formula D, got to hang out with a lot of our driving friends and other friends that we don't get to really see often. And after Formula D, Lanier Raceplex did a FD after party where a lot of the pro drivers went and drive and I went drive, which was a really big progression point for me for the year because I finally got to get used to the angle kit and started flowing a little bit better with the car, which helped me with starting to work on tandem proximity, especially with the way that track was set up. I was able to keep up with a little higher horsepower. After that, went back to Louisiana, and there was a drift event at NOLA the very following weekend. It was Need for Drift. I think that's what it was called. Some local guys put it on. It was actually a pretty good event. I got to help out a lot with setting up track and everything. I tested the track for them and got to do a little bit of driving. I really didn't have a lot of tires that weekend, so it was really only like 5 or 6 passes, but I did get to do some tandems. Immediately following that, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. Started my job at AMP and really got to start like getting into a local scene that was extremely active when it comes to drifting. Lanier does Friday night drifts almost every other Friday. There's so much out here to do when it comes to drifting, and everything's close. So from there, the next event was Drift HQ's July 4th event. I got to drive that. That was at Atlanta Motorsports Park. It's the only event that actually happens. I got to take my 140 horsepower car and show people that you can still drift that course with low horsepower, since everybody seemed to think you couldn't. Got to see Adam drift on the kart track, which was a little insane. Definitely not a good course to drift. And then, of course, Savio made some of the most bomb food, as always. Anytime you're around Drift HQ and Savio's cooking, get some of that food. After the Drift HQ event, took a small little break. I think I did 1 or 2 Friday night drifts just to test the car and ended up wanting more power, so I bought a turbo kit. Big shout out to Phil with Engine Management Solutions. He helped me pick out the kit, install the kit, as well as he did all of the tuning to the car. The car ended up making right around 250 horsepower, which was a huge jump for me. I'm so used to doing sub 200 horsepower. It's insane. And so I had to start getting used to that. Did a little test day at AMP to make sure I was good with the car, and then immediately went to East 10 Drift's Chilhowie event. And at that event, I was really tandem focused, and the course really tightened up at the end, so I was able to like really pull close to most of the people I was chasing, which made things really great for practice and getting ready for higher speed tandems and everything like that. After Chilhowie, we did a couple more Lanier nights, hung out with Taylor, and got to just party for a bit. Then following that, we decided to work with Gran Turismo East. I did some driving instruction as well as driving with them, and got to show that I was able to teach just as good as I was able to drive and help them out a good bit. I'm really hoping to work with Gran Turismo East in the future. Really great company, really great people. I think that Gran Turismo East does a lot of great things for the community. We did another Lanier night immediately after that. It was more of teaching than anything. We met up with our buddy Sean, in his 370Z, and I spent the night teaching him. I drove the car a couple times. Before we adjusted tire pressure, I kind of lost it in one of the turns. I backed into a barrier and I put a little dent in his quarter panel. We are working to fix it. After the Lanier night, it was the last event of the year, and that was Mid Pond's New Year's event. It was my first time at Mid Pond. I was having a little bit of trouble with the FRS. When we got there the first night, I had put a cheap mass airflow sensor on the car, and it was for the wrong year model and it wasn't working. So we had to go run to AutoZone, get the correct one, got the car fixed, and proceeded to party. Got to tandem with all my friends, got to tandem with this really cool purple Mustang. He got super close. It was so much fun. After the first day, we partied all day the second day around 4 o'clock on the second day for Mid Pond's event, which was the first day of the year of 2023. I'm pretty sure the car threw a timing chain and screwed up the motor. So now we're trying to get things going again with the car. And that's pretty much how 2022 went. The craziest two events of 2022, it's a real like toss-up between Drift HQ's July 4th event and East 10's Chilhowie event. Because, like I said earlier, Drift HQ's event, Adam drifted the kart track, which was insane in itself, and it was just such a big collective party with so many good drivers and so much seat time. But Chilhowie, the biggest thing about Chilhowie was there was an 18-wheeler drifting, which was pretty insane. Sitting in line, waiting to go out, looking in your rearview mirror and seeing an 18-wheeler behind you in line, it makes you feel like you're playing Car X in real life. It was so odd and a little intimidating, honestly. Like I said earlier, the year ended at Mid Pond. First day was a lot of fun. Second day, unfortunately, the motor popped, which was a little bit of a letdown, but at the same time, I have been drifting with the stock FRS motor for right around 10 seasons now. So it popping, not really a huge surprise, seeing as I got such longevity out of it. Just sucks that it happened so early in the year. So 2023 has a lot of crazy plans. First and foremost, I am motor swapping the car, which is going to be hopefully a whole series. Y'all can guess on what motor I'm putting in. Let's see who guesses it. It'll be up in a video very, very soon. I'm also working on getting a cheap fun car that I can just go out and drive more, so I can hit a lot of events, hoping to do a ton of Lanier days. I'd like to drive with iTrack, maybe hop in some of the Slide Factory stuff, do some East 10 drifting, and maybe if everything permits, go up to Club Loose. Also, I am currently trying to work with Lanier Raceplex, and we are going to be setting up drift rentals. I'll have a small fleet of cars to rent out at drift events and get to drive. That way, if you don't have a car, your car's broken, you're from out of state, whatever it is, and you want to drive at a Friday night drift, we'll have cars there for you. If you're new with it, there will be a package so that people can learn with a teacher, whether it be me or one of my friends, whatever it is. And I'm hoping that working with Lanier, I can promote drifting a little bit more and help them build on what they've already started building, so that we can expand the drifting community here to new heights way past what they were before.